Oh, yeah. That was good. Well, did you hear about the bachelor party? Did you hear about the stripper? Oh, yeah. Greg and Paul got this little 20-year-old in bed who does this crazy thing with it. Oh. Hello, and welcome to this live edition of the UW Update. I'm your semi-host tonight, Jay Tando.
And I'm Kim Butler.
How you doing tonight, Kim?
Just great, Jay.
Good. You look great this evening.
Well, thank you.
All right.
Thanks very much. Okay, our first story tonight is on the political situation. If you've watched TV or read a newspaper lately, you have probably noticed that the political campaigning for this year's presidential election has gone underway. Recently, here in the Seattle area, we have had our share of Democratic political hopefuls hoping to win our hearts and our votes in this state's caucus, the first step in being elected to the Democratic Party ticket this fall. Last week's vote gave us Paul Tsongas as the state's winner, followed by second with undecided, and Jerry Brown came in third. Not that this means a whole heck of a bunch when you look at this on a national scale. It is merely one vote for one person in one state, and that's a Democratic representative. We have yet to elect a Republican representative. That will happen in the state's primary this May. So let the complicated process of presidential election continue, and hopefully we can all keep up.
The teepees seen on the Hub lawn last Wednesday were not part of any hippie protests such as the one staged in Red Square last year. Instead, the teepees were a backdrop for the UW American Indian Student Commission's 6th annual storytelling event, A Change of Worlds. The storytelling began at noon and continued throughout the afternoon with a dance performance and a presentation for children. The program was organized to allow storytellers to bring the audience closer to them for a more intimate story exchange, according to Jeanette Allen, project coordinator and member of the Nez Perce Nation. You know, one of the storytellers Wednesday was communications professor Ken Gray Eagle Jackson. I had a class last spring with the Grayster, and I'll never forget Professor Jackson taking out class time to tell us students the old Indian legend about Cheba O, and you know who you are. Yes, we still talk about that one. Ken?
Thanks, Jay. Down at the corner of 15th and Pacific, major progress is still being made on construction of the new physics building, the project which began this last year with the relocation of the Penthouse Theater, and the relocation of the KCTS dish antenna is scheduled for completion if all goes as planned in the year 1993. Once finished, the new building will house both the physics and astronomy departments. And in addition to the new physics building, this site will also be the location of the Kincaid Hall Biological Sciences Building Addition, scheduled for construction between the years 1995-2001.
The national champion University of Washington Huskies football team will be honored at a White House ceremony with President George Bush on Friday, March 20th. The announcement was made Thursday by Athletic Director Barbara Hedges. Joining the Huskies at the ceremony with the president and other political dignitaries will be the University of Miami Hurricanes, who shared the top spot with Washington. The Huskies finished the season ranked first in the USA Today CNN poll in balloting by Division 1A coaches, while Miami was a choice in the final Associated Press poll. It was the first time a Husky team finished the season ranked number 1. Okay, boys, now is your chance. Okay, Billy Joe, you said last fall you'd love to play these guys on a neutral field. I say we take them out on the White House lawn and spank them in front of George and the boys, and we'll show them who the real champions are. Kim?
And now we're going to be going to a VTR with Tina Kim and Joel Ostrich.
Head to Central Oregon and go to Mount Bachelor, maybe do some skiing. What about you?
Oh, I'm not sure yet, but I do know I'm going to catch up on some sleep. Well, how about we go see what other people are going to do for spring break?
All right, let's go.
Okay.
Burger, what are you going to do?
I'm going to Spain for a week to visit my family, my brother, my sister-in-law, and my nephew and my niece.
Sounds good.
So what are you going to do for spring break?
Well, I was going to go home to Hawaii, but I'm too cheap, so I'm staying here.
I understand that.
Hi, what are you going to be doing?
I think I'll be reading.
Sounds interesting.
Yeah, got a whole stack of books.
Okay, so
I have no idea.
What about you?
Well, I think during spring break I'm going to go up to Canada, Edmonton, Canada.
Oh, really?
Yeah, where they have that mall, the largest in the world. Yeah,
cool.
Go check that out. Yeah.
I'm going to kick back and relax, basically. Yeah.
Going up to a big mountain is what I had planned on doing, except it fell through because classes and finals fell right on the date that we had planned to go, and we couldn't get the condominium for any other time. So a couple of friends are going, but now I'm out of plans for spring break.
I know what you mean. Well, it doesn't seem like a lot of people are doing much for spring break this year.
Yeah, I know. It seems like a lot of people are just going to be reading and sleeping.
Seems scholastic.
Yeah.
Last week, Board of Control member Judy Nicastro called a meeting to hear the views of all students, faculty, and staff interested in setting up a sexual assault center on campus. Nicastro, who chairs the ASUW Sexual Assault Committee, has recently been working hard, along with other students, in formulating plans for a center that would incorporate already existing resources, as well as provide peer support groups, legal assistance, and professional counseling. The group that met this last Tuesday was in definite agreement on the need for such a center, but felt that questions regarding funding and internal structure for the center would need to be more specifically addressed before any real plans to develop the center could be set into motion.
It looks like the granddaddy of the UW campus buildings, Denny Hall, will have its current restoration job done soon. Project manager Rick Shaney said the building, originally built in the late 18th century, should be done by mid-May. Shaney also said that the restoration of Denny Hall has been a slow process due to Seattle weather and limited funds. You know, he's got that right. I've had classes at Denny Hall for 2 years now, and it seems like every day I look out the window and some guy cleaning the same window. Yeah.
And now we have a special segment for tonight's show, Bitchin' Kitchen, with Shane and Rick. And coming up, an interview with comedian Mark Williams and Lisa Gokul.
Good evening, and welcome to Bitchin' Kitchen, the cooking show for the discriminating college chef. With me tonight is Chef Poisson.
Rick is fine. This is Shane.
Tonight we'll be serving and preparing the culinary masterpiece, which I like to call pasta au gratin avec frankfurter.
It's mac and cheese and hot dogs.
Yes, you say tomato, I say tomato.
I say ketchup.
However, before we begin preparations for our meal, there are a few ground rules which I would like to lay down for the Bitchin' Kitchen. The 5 Bitchin' Kitchen Commandments.
Number 1.
Thou shalt not serve petite portions of food.
We want big proportions. If there's leftovers, stick it in the refrigerator.
Thank you.
Sure. Number 2.
Thou shalt serve dinners, or thou shalt prepare meals in a timely manner.
We want these quick, you gotta study or go to the movies, stuff like that.
Thank you.
Sure. Number 3.
Thou shalt not spend an excessive sum of money on any meal.
We want this to be cheap, okay? Bulk food is good. Lots to forget. Number 4.
Thou shalt not prepare meals which are too difficult.
Oh, you want to be easy.
And
food, easy.
Finally,
number 5.
Number 5. Thou shalt not make an excessive mess while preparing any meal.
Oh, yeah, sure. I mean, why dirty a plate when you can eat out of the pan?
Thank you. For tonight's meal, let's go to the shelf. Procure a package of ordinary standard store-bought.
Could we lose the accent, please?
Okay.
Thanks.
Get a box of macaroni and cheese from the store. Anything.
Much better.
You can get them on sale for about $5 for a buck. Can you watch what you're doing?
Yeah. 4 for a buck if you're lucky, or 5 for a buck if you're lucky. Yeah.
Follow the directions on the back of the pack, which we'll be doing, give or take.
Give or take.
First thing you do is you dump the macaroni into the boiling water. We have some pre-boiled here.
I like it when that happens.
For our speed and convenience.
Open the package. I got it. Remove the sauce pouch. Not too far. And... Hey, alright.
Insert the pasta.
Bin. Okay.
Thusly.
Now, we have forks around here.
Forks. Give it the occasional stir so it doesn't...
I got it.
Snarl up into a big glob of pasta.
Stick to the bottom, as they
try not to spill the water over the sides like Rick's doing.
Here we go. Alright, that's
While your pasta's on, or, well, I guess we can call it noodles now.
Yeah, it doesn't have to be
Can
pasta.
we call it noodles?
Okay. 30 seconds.
Alright, while the noodles are in the pan, we start on phase 2 of the dinner operation. The meat.
To the freezer. Follow that man.
In the freezer we find hot dogs. Find them on sale for about $1 a pack. These are actually turkey franks, which are especially good for you. They don't have pork snouts and pig lips and things like that. They have turkey lips instead.
Not in your way, am I?
No, that's fine.
Good.
Take the hot dogs thusly.
2 is good. 2 works out
yes,
pretty
2
well.
would be a good quantity.
Yeah.
And cut them up in nice small little portions. You know, it may appear that we've rehearsed this many times before actually putting the show on the air, but in fact, as roommates, we've prepared this meal time and time again.
So we're good at it.
And we still enjoy it after all these times.
I'll cut off my fingers.
I'll try not to cut off your fingers. Now, as soon as we have the hot dogs cut up, we're going to introduce you to one of the marvels of the kitchen, which your parents really didn't have the advantage of using when they were in school.
Definitely not.
Which we call
the microwave. Can we get a shot of the microwave? Now we have a pretty, this is like industrial time here. See, we got our, it's good to have warnings, radioactive warnings on your microwave. Remember the simple rules of microwave. Do not look inside while it's on, and don't put any metal in. It's not good. Okay. Now, you might feel like an urge to put this on a plate or something, but paper towels are great because you can just throw them away.
You need to use the paper towel anyway to absorb some of the excess moisture from the
Okay,
microwave.
here we go. We put them in the microwave. Now, oops, here we go. I got it. All right, stay. Now, a good time for this is about what? A minute, 30 seconds?
Sure.
Microwave this is a pretty good microwave, so. Now,
1.5 minutes to 2 minutes.
Now, we don't want to start the hot dogs too soon, or they'll be done before the
pasta is fully cooked.
You see, but it's not too bad because if the hot dogs get cold, you just nuke them again. So, how much time we got left then?
It's probably just about time to start the microwave.
Okay, we're going to start the microwave. Here we go. Microwave is go.
All right. Well, looks like the hot dogs are done. Oh, how are the noodles?
Noodles are done.
All right,
cool.
fantastic.
We're ready.
By the way, here's a quick little rule for you. It's a cheater's rule, and it's a lesson in Romance languages. If your noodles aren't quite done when you serve them, you can just say you're serving them al dente, and it's very fashionable. That means not quite cooked.
Good. I like that. Would you like to drain the noodles? Or
Oh, please, be my guest.
Okay. Now, some people might think you might need a colander or something, but nah. We got lids for that.
Less is more.
Less is more. We just kind of hold the lid here. Whoa! And you only lose just a couple of noodles. Okay, here we go. Almost out. And if you have a little extra water in it,
That's fine.
that's fine. Okay. Here we go.
All right, we've got our light, fluffy, tasty, tender macaroni noodles, and we're ready to add that little extra something, the hot dogs.
Now, I've turned off the stove here because we don't want to cook the noodles anymore.
Look at the way those little chunks of tasty meat just drop right out into that bed of noodles. Go ahead,
okay,
Chef.
thanks.
All right.
That's
How's
great.
it? Cooked to perfection?
Yeah. Oh,
All
that's terrific. Okay,
Now it's time to add the sauce pack.
before we cook the noodles anymore. Oh yeah, adding the sauce pack. Now, you might be tempted just to tear this thing off and then drop it on the burner so it burns. Now you don't want to tear this off because you lose so much cheese. So it's a good idea to shake all of that cheese down to one end there, ripping off the end. And here we go. The sauce packet.
Now, instructions call for a specific amount of margarine, but who cares?
Margarine, butter. Hey,
Estimate.
estimate
Grab a
butter,
kitchen utensil.
estimate the milk. As you
Look good,
do
I see
this more, you'll figure out how much you like of each.
Let's get
Whoa! I think that's a little much on both
All
parts.
right.
But hey, now all you have to
extra
do,
rich and creamy.
the last step is easy. You just stir it until it looks edible. Can we get a tight shot of that? See, now I want you to see this. For most people, does not look edible. So
we go. Getting close. Almost done. How long have we spent?
Hey, could you stir this?
Sure.
I'll be right back.
Thanks. We really haven't spent too much time on this meal, as you can tell. And we end up with something that's really tasty, pleasing color, the blend of meat and pasta together.
Ah, now that is much better music.
Thank you.
Okay.
Of course, this isn't a complete meal.
Gotta turn it down, I think.
We do need to have some vegetables or something with it. We've got easy vegetables. Grab something out of the freezer, grab something fresh. Raw vegetables are good, anything. Just don't eat it quite by itself. And of course, in the finest bitchin' kitchen tradition, we're not going to bother putting this onto a plate because that's something else to wash. But let's have somebody from the studio audience come on in here and give it a try.
Can we get our studio audience here?
You, sir.
Yeah.
Come on out, give us a try.
Why don't you come up, try this here? Just come on around. That's good. That's good. Now we're not gonna put this on a plate. We're just gonna eat this right here. It's a little hot.
How's it taste?
If you're not no. If you're not worried about germs, share a fork. You know, hey, thanks a lot. Is it?
Well, there you have it. The Bitchin' Kitchen's meal of the evening, macaroni and cheese with hot dogs.
Tune in next time.
And we'll cook something else quick, easy, nutritious, plentiful, and cheap. Call that.
Bye.
Welcome back to UW Update. I'm Lisa Gokul. Tonight we have a very special guest, comedian Mark Williams. Mark has been a guest on David Letterman, the HBO special, the Arts and Entertainment Evening at the Improv, Fox Television's Comic Strip Live, and he's written 9 episodes for WKRP in Cincinnati, and you may watch him in an upcoming event of Northern Exposure. Without further ado, here's Mark Williams.
Thanks a lot. It's fun to be here. I was like... That's better than I do at a comedy club. That's pretty good. I always like doing things for the UW because, the people are always nice. The only thing I really don't like being on campus at UW, and it has nothing to do with the fact that I didn't go to school there. It's just I just get this impression that maybe the guy who laid the roads out at UW was like a real heavy drinker with one crayon in his box, and he just curved this one around and we'll tie it into something later on. How in the hell? I can't find my once. I got stuck on UW campus one time for 3 damn days. Then, let's see what else is going on over there. Of course, the football team did real well this year, except for the fact you didn't play my school. You did not play the University of Alabama, which makes all of us Alabama fans extremely grateful to the scheduling people this year. Thank you very much. I was worried about being here tonight because I was kind of concerned, because I just had some major surgery. I just had my ex-wife's attorney removed from my back, and it's just one of those things that goes on, because I openly, without shame, admit that I have 2 ex-wives, and both good old girls too. I can't remember their names right now. I just call them both plaintiff. It's easier. It's just things going on out there in the world you can't control, I guess. Right now, it's just hard to be a comedian this time of the year, because every 4 years, the politicians are getting more airtime, which is, I guess, fair because they're the funniest bastards on the planet anyway. We finally thought we'd get a choice this year. Didn't work out. To say that Bill Clinton is the front runner is a lot like saying Moe was the smartest of all the Stooges. It just doesn't work for me. And Paul Tsongas has discovered he does better in the states that he doesn't go in, and of course you've got a choice there again of Jerry Brown, America's human speed bump. And you got your own thing going here in Washington, I guess. What, Brock Adams and his deal? I don't know about Brock there. I do know for how many people would like to see him actually stay in office till the end of his term? A couple people are? How many people like to see him get the heck out of there? Okay. Well, I have it straight from the horse's mouth. Brock will be staying for the full term, but he's going to be taking a little bit of time off for his guest appearance on Love Connection and Studs. And he and Ted Kennedy will be co-hosting the new PBS special, Love Potions in the 90s. So, you just have to learn to entertain yourself. You can't see comedians every night. Just learn to entertain yourself. So I got a few suggestions for you. Next time you're the lead car in a funeral, take a wrong turn. Better yet, lead them to a car wash. Next time you get bored late at night, we know there's plenty of parking at UW. Next time you get bored late at night, go down to the faculty parking lot and turn every space you can find into a handicap zone. Get bored late at night, choose a 7-Eleven of your choice. Go in there and scream at the guy. Do you sell ski masks here? One more. Next time you get stopped, well, how about 2 more? Next time you get stopped by a cop and he asks you that stupid question, do you know how fast you were going? Just give him a big cheesy smile and go, hell no, I've been drinking. Thank you.
Mark, it's good to have you here.
Thanks.
All right. To start off, you mentioned that you're from the University of Alabama.
Originally, they kicked me out of there after a while, though.
You have a BA from University of Alabama in radio, a master's in international economics from Vanderbilt. You were active Navy pilot for 8 years, and you were regional vice president of Merrill Lynch. So how, with all that behind you, did you ever get into comedy?
That's what I tell people quite often. I was raised in a fine Christian family, educated in 2 Southern universities, and hired by the largest firm on Wall Street, so I quit to do stand-up comedy, and Mom's real proud about that stuff. But I've always been the class clown. I think that's a pretty standard thing for a lot of comedians. I've always been able to make my parents laugh. I come from a very funny family, and frankly, being able to make my parents laugh spontaneously is probably why I'm still alive today. It's averted several beatings. They just stop in mid-stroke. But I had written for WKRP while I was at Merrill Lynch, Pierce, Winter, and Swindle. The bull is not the right symbol for that company, by the way. It should be the residue of the bull, but that's a whole different story. And I just walked in one day and threw my trading book on the desk and said, I quit.
So how does your family feel about this career choice?
Well, you know you're doing well with your career when you get to be my age and your mom and dad still look at you and go. So, but they're very supportive. I think the first time they see you on TV, it changes their attitude quite a bit. It's fun to watch some of the reruns of the Letterman Show or WKRP, and they'll be carping and just giving you all kinds of grief about your career choice. And then as soon as they see you on television, they get real attentive and they get proud. And so it's coming full circle, but I still think I have a lot to do. They were raised before there was television, so my parents are about 2 years older than baseball. So
when you do comedy, do you plan out beforehand what you're going to say, or do you just get up there and completely ad-lib?
Well, no, I don't think you can really ad-lib for a full hour. You have to have an idea of where you want to go with the show, but you have to have enough material when you're doing a show so that if the audience has a very strange mood on, like the show last night at Giggles, you have to be able to change gears. And I have about 3 hours worth of material, so I can change it around to suit the audience. Sometimes you just have to whip them.
How did you get into comedy? How did you make your start, and how did you get discovered?
You're in a perpetual phase of discovery as far as comedy because it's so competitive out there. I got into comedy obviously by writing comedy for WKRP, and then was with some friends at Merrill Lynch, and they took me out for my birthday, and unbeknownst to me, had me signed up for an open mic night at a comedy club in Atlanta, and the club owner hired me right there on the spot, and I went, well, I can make more money doing this than I ever did flying airplanes for the Navy or trading stocks and bonds, so I pursued it for a while on a part-time basis, and began doing it full-time and traveling, and I got asked to do the Letterman Show quite by accident. I was filling a hole for somebody at the Nashville Network on their Southern Humor special.
How was that being on David Letterman? What was it feeling like?
Well, you can't really let anybody shake you up, but you really, I had been warned in advance. I think everybody's aware of the fact that he has a propensity for ridiculing his guests, and somebody had told me that you just have to slap him down right off the bat, and he'll leave you alone and do an honest interview.
So what did you do?
I walked up to him after I'd done my stand-up set, and I shook his hand, and I said, I'm surprised you're here. I didn't know you. When did you get out of jail? And he looked at me like, what in the hell are you talking about? And I said, well, I'm sorry. I thought everybody knew. I heard the little girl's parents dropped the charges after you sold your raincoat. And he just threw the interview cards out the window, and Paul Schaefer, the band leader, said in that famous nasal tone of his, I think he's got you now, David. I wouldn't mess with this one. So that's really, anytime you can slap David Letterman around on his own show, it makes you kind of popular with other comedians and club owners. So.
Well, how did you settle on living in Seattle out of any other place? I'm sure you've traveled all over the world, really.
Well, I could do the aesthetic things like the mountain, the air, and the people, and things like that. But I was first introduced to the Northwest when I was flying A6s out of Whidbey Island. I really thought it was pretty, but if you really want the truth of the matter,
really want the
truth. Put it this way. See, I got an ex-wife in Atlanta, Georgia, and I've got another one in North Alabama. How far away could you get, okay? I wanted to stay in the continental United States, and I didn't really like Blaine or Bellingham, so I just stopped in Seattle and Edmonds. It's a pretty place. I mean, getting too damn crowded, but it's a pretty place.
Do you think this will be home? I mean, do you plan to stay here? Or?
I will always have a house up here. I own some property on Whidbey Island, and I have a house in Edmonds, and I'll always live here at least part of the year.
All right. Well, what was probably like the funniest experience you've ever had as a comedian? Either being totally bombed by the audience by not laughing, or
well, it rarely happens on stage. What we wind up doing is playing games with other comedians. And the big game for comedians is when you're traveling, do not tell anybody that you're a comedian. Because the first thing you do, you get on the airplane, they go, well, tell me a joke. And it's like sitting down next to a Boeing engineer. You're going, well, who do you work for? Boeing. I'm an aircraft engineer. Well, design me an airplane real quick. So I play games. That's where I have most of my fun. And it can be very hilarious because my new gimmick is when I'm on the airplane, I tell them I'm a life insurance salesman. Right. That means normally they stand in the bathroom for the entire flight, and I get an extra meal. And the funny thing was, the guy was a life insurance agent himself. So.
All right. Well, what clubs do you play in Seattle and nationally? What familiar names can you throw at us?
I'm very loyal to a home club here in Seattle, Giggles. They treat me very well.
Giggles.
Yes. And but I travel all over the country, and I do the entire chain of improvs, with the exception of the one here, because I felt that's a conflict with Giggles. I do all of the improvs, the Sir Laughs a Lot, Caroline's Comedy Network down on the East Coast, and there's some of them have chains all over the country, but the Punchline in Atlanta, I've got usually 60 club dates a year.
All right. Well, that about wraps it up for UW Update. I want to thank you very much for being here with us. And if you'd like to catch Mark Williams, he'll be headlining at Giggles in May. So with that, good night, and thank you for watching.